Imagine you are standing on the edge of a cliff. To your left, a sheer drop, 300 feet of jagged rock and crushing waves. To your right, a dense forest, dark, unmapped, full of noises you can't identify. Your heart is hammering against your ribs. Your palms are slick with sweat. Your breath is shallow, caught high in your chest. Every single nerve ending in your body is screaming one instruction: stay put. Don't move. Don't jump. Don't walk into the dark. Just stand here on this tiny patch of grass where you can see your feet, where the ground is solid, where you are still breathing. Now, open your eyes. You aren't on a cliff. You aren't in a forest. You are sitting in an ergonomic office chair. The room is 72 degrees. There is a half-drunk coffee on the coaster next to you. You are staring at a glowing rectangle. On that screen, there is a button. Maybe it says Submit Order. Maybe it says Invest. Maybe it says Transfer. The amount in the box isn't even life-changing money. It's $5,000, maybe 10. It's money you can technically afford to lose. You did the math. You looked at the spreadsheets. You told your partner you were going to do it. But look at your hands. Look at them. They are shaking just a little bit. Your stomach is doing that slow, sick roll, the same roll it would do if you were looking over that cliff edge. You click away. You open a new tab. You check your email. You go to Reddit to read just one more opinion on the market. You tell yourself you're doing due diligence. You tell yourself you're being prudent. Wrong. You are experiencing a biological glitch. And this glitch is the single reason you are going to die broke. Let's get very uncomfortable for a second. We like to think of ourselves as sophisticated financial operators. We wear suits. We understand compound interest. We know what an ETF is. But your brain doesn't know what money is. Your brain is a 3 million-year-old piece of wet hardware designed for one thing: keeping you from getting eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. To your amygdala, the lizard part of your brain that controls fear, there is no difference between losing $10,000 in the stock market and starving to death in the winter. The signal is identical. Resource loss equals death. So when you look at that investment opportunity, when you look at that business idea that requires upfront capital, you aren't seeing a financial calculation. You are seeing a predator. And your body reacts accordingly. It floods your system with cortisol. It shuts down your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic, long-term planning, and complex math. Think about that. Precisely the moment you need to be the most logical, your biology lobotomizes you. It takes your intelligence offline and replaces it with instinct. And the instinct is protect the hoard. Keep the berries in the cave. Don't plant them. Don't trade them. Eat them slowly, one by one, and hope they last until spring. This is why you feel that physical resistance. It's not intuition. It's not a bad feeling about the market. It is a primitive, outdated survival mechanism hijacking your nervous system. You are a caveman trying to day trade, and you are scared of the wrong thing. Let's zoom in on the specific moment of failure, because it happens the same way every time. You find an opportunity. Let's say it's a rental property, or a volatile crypto asset, or a course that costs $2,000 but teaches you a high-income skill. You get excited. You see the potential upside. You do the math. If this works, I could double my money. I could quit my job in 3 years. The dopamine hits. You feel good. You feel ambitious. Then comes the night before. You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. The house is quiet. And the whisper starts. What if you're wrong? What if the market crashes tomorrow? What if you lose it all and everyone laughs at you? The excitement drains away, replaced by a cold, heavy dread in your gut. You start bargaining. Maybe I'll wait a week just to see what the Fed does. Maybe I should save a little more cash first, just to be safe. Maybe I'm not ready. The next morning, you sit down at your computer. You pull up the transfer page. Your finger hovers over the mouse. The dread spikes. It's a physical wall, a force field of anxiety pushing your hand away. So you close the window. And immediately, you feel a rush of relief. Your shoulders drop. Your breath comes back. The tension leaves your jaw. You feel safe. You tell yourself, good job. You didn't do anything rash. You protected your money. This is the most dangerous moment of your life. Because that relief, that warm, fuzzy feeling of safety, that is the sound of your financial future suffocating. You just rewarded your brain for cowardice. You just taught your nervous system that avoiding risk equals survival. You gave yourself a dopamine cookie for staying in the cage. Every time you do this, every time you research an investment for 6 months and then don't pull the trigger, you are reinforcing the neural pathway that keeps you poor. You are training yourself to be a spectator. You are watching the game of wealth from the bleachers, clutching your popcorn, telling yourself you're smart because you didn't get tackled. But you're not smart. You're just invisible. And the game is going on without you. Here is the truth nobody tells you about risk. We are taught that risk is dangerous. That risk is gambling. That risk is for reckless people who don't care about their families. Bullshit. In the modern economy, risk is the price of admission. If you are not taking risks, you are not participating. You are merely existing as raw material for the people who do take risks. You are the battery that powers someone else's machine. When you keep your money safe in a savings account, you are effectively lending it to a bank at 0.01% interest, so they can lend it to a risk taker at 7%. The risk taker uses your money to build a business, buy an asset, or create value. They get rich using your fear as their capital. You are the soil, they are the plant. You sit there, slowly eroding, slowly losing purchasing power to inflation, slowly watching the cost of living outpace your safe salary. You think you're standing on solid ground. Remember the cliff. The ground you are standing on is crumbling. It is turning into sand. Inflation is the ocean eating away at the cliff edge, inch by inch, year by year. Staying still is not safety. Staying still is a slow, guaranteed slide into obsolescence. But your biology doesn't know what inflation is. A saber-toothed tiger doesn't understand purchasing power parity. So your brain screams, safe, while your future burns down around you. You are scared of the jump, but you should be terrified of the ground. I'm just waiting for the right time. I need to do a little more research. I'm being prudent. I'm waiting for the market to correct. Sound familiar? Of course it does. These are the hymnals of your religion. You chant them every single day. You say them to your spouse when they ask about that investment property you talked about 3 years ago. You say them to your friends over drinks when they mention Bitcoin or AI stocks. You say them to yourself in the mirror to explain why, despite your high IQ and your good salary, your net worth has barely moved in a decade. You have convinced yourself that this hesitation is a virtue. You have rebranded your cowardice as intelligence. You wear your inaction like a badge of honor. You look down on the people who do take risks. You call them gamblers. You call them lucky. You tell yourself you are the smart one, the disciplined one, the one who doesn't get burned. Wrong. You are not being prudent. You are paralyzed. And you are using your intelligence to build a very sophisticated, very convincing cage around your fear. Let's look at your research. You know the scene. It's 11:30 p.m. You have 15 tabs open. You're reading the fourth page of a Reddit thread from 2022 about a specific index fund. You're watching a YouTube video from a guy who says the economy is about to collapse. Then you watch a video from a guy who says the economy is about to boom. You open your spreadsheet. Ah, the spreadsheet, your masterpiece. You have columns for projected returns. You have cells for inflation adjustments. You have 3 different scenarios: conservative, moderate, and aggressive. You change a cell from 6% to 6.5%. You watch the numbers at the bottom change. You feel a little hit of dopamine. Look at that, you think. If I just tweak this, I'll have $2 million in 20 years. You spend 2 hours moving numbers around a grid. And then you close the laptop. You go to bed feeling productive. You feel like you worked on your finances. But you didn't do anything. You didn't move a single cent. You didn't buy, you didn't sell, you didn't build. You just played a video game called Wealth, where the points don't matter and the score doesn't save. That spreadsheet isn't a financial tool. It's a pacifier. It is a way for you to simulate the feeling of control in a world that is inherently chaotic. You are using data to self-soothe. You think that if you just get one more piece of information, the fear will go away. If you just read one more book, one more analysis, one more expert opinion, the uncertainty will vanish and the path will become clear. Here is the uncomfortable truth. The uncertainty never goes away. There is no amount of research that will guarantee safety. There is no chart that predicts the future. You are waiting for a green light that does not exist. The people who are rich, the people you are secretly jealous of, they didn't wait for the fear to leave. They acted while they were scared. They bought the asset while their stomach was churning. They signed the lease while their hands were shaking. They understood that perfect information is a myth invented by poor people to justify staying poor. But you're smart. And that's actually your biggest problem. Stupid people sometimes get rich by accident because they're too dumb to be scared. They see an opportunity, they don't overthink it, and they jump. But you have a high-powered engine for rationalization. Your brain is a lawyer that argues for the defense of the status quo. When you see a risky opportunity, your intelligence immediately goes to work, finding reasons not to do it. The PE ratio is too high. The geopolitical situation is unstable. Interest rates might go up. My cousin lost money doing this in 2008. You can generate 100 logical, articulate, well-cited reasons to do absolutely nothing. And every single one of them is valid. That's the trap. The reasons are real. The risks are real. But while you are busy being right about the risks, someone else is busy getting rich despite them. You are winning the debate, but you are losing the war. You are the general who refuses to march his troops because it might rain. Yes, it might rain. The mud might be terrible. The terrain is difficult. but the enemy is marching. And while you are sitting in your tent analyzing the weather patterns, they are taking the territory. Let's talk about the market crash fantasy. This is the favorite lie of the intellectual coward. I'm keeping my cash on the sidelines. I'm waiting for the crash. When everything goes down 40%, then I'll be a genius. Then I'll swoop in and buy everything for pennies. Stop lying to yourself. If you are too scared to buy when the market is making all-time highs, if you are too scared to buy when the graph is green and everyone is happy, do you really think, do you honestly believe that you will have the guts to buy when the world is burning? When the news is screaming recession, when your friends are getting laid off, when the graph is a vertical red line pointing to hell? No, you won't. When that crash comes, you won't feel like a genius. You will feel like the world is ending. You will be even more scared than you are now. You will say, I'll just wait until it hits the bottom. And you will watch it drop, and then you will watch it bounce, and then you will watch it recover. And you will still be sitting on your cash, paralyzed by the exact same fear, just wearing a different costume. I missed the bottom, you'll say. I'll wait for the retest. And the cycle repeats. You are not a sniper waiting for the perfect shot. You are a soldier who forgot to load his gun. And the battlefield is moving on without you. Think about the energy you spend on this. The mental gymnastics, the constant checking of the news, the anxiety, the justification. You are exhausted. You are tired of watching other people win. You are tired of seeing people who are half as smart as you, half as hardworking as you, making 10 times as much money as you. You tell yourself it's because they're reckless. You tell yourself they're going to lose it all eventually. Maybe they will. But at least they're in the arena. At least they're playing the game. You are sitting in the stands, clutching your ticket, criticizing the players, and wondering why nobody is cheering for you. Nobody cheers for the audience. Nobody remembers the guy who almost invested. Nobody writes biographies about the man who did his due diligence and then decided to keep his money in a checking account. You are safe. You are prudent. You are responsible. And you are completely irrelevant. You think you are standing still. You think that by doing nothing, you are hitting the pause button on your financial life. You believe that your money sitting in that checking account is a frozen block of potential energy. It's safe. It's there. It's waiting for you. This is the single most dangerous hallucination in your entire life. There is no pause button. There is no neutral gear. You are on a treadmill, and the treadmill is moving backward. Every single second you stand still, you are moving backward. Every day you don't take a risk, you are becoming poorer. Not metaphorically, mathematically. Let's look at the silent killer you invited into your house. Inflation. You hear that word on the news and your eyes glaze over. Oh, 3%. That's not bad. Do you understand what that actually means? It means that the money you worked for, the hours of your life you traded, the stress you endured, the time away from your family, is being erased. If you worked a 10-hour day in 2020 and put that money in a jar, by the time you open that jar today, you effectively only worked 8 hours. 2 hours of your life were deleted. Gone. Vaporized by the system you are so desperate to trust. You are not saving money. You are watching it rot. Imagine you have a basket of apples. You worked hard for them. You pick them yourself. You are terrified of eating them because you might run out. You are terrified of planting the seeds because they might not grow. So you put the apples in a dark cupboard. You lock the door. You say, they are safe. You come back a year later. What do you find? Mush, brown, foul-smelling liquid. That is your savings account. That is your safe strategy. You are hoarding fruit that is designed to decay. Let's talk about the math of safety. You are terrified of losing 10% on a bad trade. You obsess over it. The thought keeps you awake. What if the stock goes down? What if the business fails? So you choose the guaranteed path. You keep your money in cash. Over 10 years, assuming normal inflation, you have guaranteed a loss of purchasing power of roughly 30%. If inflation spikes, maybe 50%. Think about that. You are so afraid of a potential loss that you are voluntarily signing up for a guaranteed loss. You are choosing to bleed to death slowly because you are afraid of a paper cut. This is the logic of a madman. But because the bleeding is slow, because it happens over years, not days, your brain doesn't register the pain. It's the boiling frog experiment. If you throw a frog in boiling water, a market crash, it jumps out, it panics, it reacts. But if you put the frog in tepid water and turn up the heat, inflation and stagnation, the frog just sits there. It gets comfortable, it gets sleepy, and then it dies. You are the frog. You are sitting in the tepid water of your comfort zone, feeling safe, while the temperature rises 1 degree at a time. You look at housing prices. Wow, expensive, you say. You look at grocery bills. Crazy, you say. You look at your salary. Stable, you say. You don't scream. You don't jump. You just adjust. You buy cheaper food. You take fewer trips. You shrink your life to fit your shrinking wealth. You are slowly, politely, quietly suffocating. Now, look at the alternative. The risk. Yes, if you invest, you might lose. If you start the business, it might fail. You might lose 5 grand, 10 grand. That hurts, it's sharp, it's sudden, it's embarrassing. But here is the asymmetry you are ignoring. The downside of a risk is capped. You can only lose what you put in. The downside of safety is uncapped. By playing it safe, you are losing the entire upside of your life. You are losing the version of yourself who is wealthy. You are losing the freedom you could have had. You are losing the generational change you could have created. The cost of inaction is infinite. You are paying for your safety with your dreams. And the worst part, you act like you have time. You act like you can wait until you're 40, 50, 60 to start taking this seriously. I'll take risks when I have more of a cushion. No, you won't. Because the older you get, the heavier the chains become. You will have a bigger mortgage, more kids, more health issues, more fear. The cliff gets higher, the fall looks scarier. If you can't jump now, when the stakes are low, you will never jump when they are high. You are building a habit of hesitation that will calcify into a personality trait. You are becoming the guy who talks about it. The guy at the barbecue who says, "Yeah, I looked into Bitcoin back in 2016. I almost bought some. I had this idea for an app back in 2024. Exact same thing as this new unicorn. Nobody cares. Almost doesn't pay the rent. Almost doesn't retire your parents. Almost is the epitaph on the tombstone of the coward. And deep down, in the quiet moments of the morning, you know this. You know that the pain of regret is heavier than the pain of failure. Failure is a bruise, it heals. It teaches you something. It makes you tougher. Regret. Regret is a cancer. It eats you from the inside out. It turns you bitter. It makes you resent the people who did jump. You look at them and you find flaws. He's just lucky. She had rich parents. They're arrogant. You create these narratives to protect yourself from the truth. And the truth is, they just had the guts to accept the possibility of pain. You didn't. You chose anesthesia. You chose the numbness of safety. And now you are waking up in the middle of the surgery, realizing that while you were asleep, they removed your spine. You are safe. You are whole. But you can't move. Let's play a game. I'm going to flip a coin. If it lands on heads, I will wire you $150. Right now. Instant transfer. If it lands on tails, you have to hand me $100. That's it, one flip. Mathematically, this is a no-brainer. This is a dream scenario. The potential gain is 50% higher than the potential loss. If you played this game 1,000 times, you would be rich. A casino would go bankrupt offering this bet. But right now, in your gut, you are hesitating. You are looking at that $100 in your wallet. You are thinking about how hard you worked for it. You are thinking about the hours of your life it represents. You are imagining the feeling of handing it over, the sting, the embarrassment, the feeling of being stupid for gambling it away. And then you look at the potential gain, $150. That would be nice, you think. I could buy a nice dinner. I could pay a bill. But it doesn't feel as powerful as the fear. The fear is screaming. The desire is whispering. So you say, no thanks, I'll keep my 100. Congratulations. You just failed the test. You just let a psychological glitch cost you money. This glitch has a name. It was discovered by a psychologist named Daniel Kahneman. It won him a Nobel Prize. It is called loss aversion. And it is the reason you are poor. Here is the dark truth about your brain's accounting software. Your brain is not a calculator. It is a survival engine. And to a survival engine, losses are not equal to gains. Psychologically, the pain of losing money is twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining the same amount. Losing $10,000 feels like a car crash. Making $10,000 feels like a nice meal. The intensity doesn't match. This is why you stare at a stock chart and only see the downside. This is why you look at a business opportunity and only see the ways it could fail. Your brain amplifies the risk by a factor of 2, and it minimizes the reward by half. You are walking through life with a distorted pair of glasses that makes every cliff look twice as high and every treasure chest look half as full. You think you are being realistic. You are not. You are hallucinating. You are reacting to a phantom pain that hasn't even happened yet. You are mourning the loss of money you still have, terrified that it might leave you. This mechanism kept your ancestors alive. In the wild, losing your food meant death. Finding extra food was just a bonus. So nature wired you to protect what you have at all costs. Don't lose the spear, don't lose the fire, don't lose the cave. But you don't live in a cave. You live in an economy based on capital allocation. And in this economy, the person who protects their pile is the person who loses. Think about how this manifests in your portfolio. You buy a stock, it goes down 5%. Panic. Your stomach drops. You check your phone every 10 minutes. You lose sleep. you feel like an idiot. I should sell. I should stop the bleeding. So you sell at the bottom. You lock in the loss because you can't handle the emotional pain of seeing the red number. Now imagine the stock goes up 5%. Do you feel a rush of ecstasy equal to the panic you felt before? No. You feel okay. You feel smart. You pat yourself on the back. But you don't feel it in your bones. Because winning is just a bonus. Surviving is the mandate. This asymmetry is why you stay in a job you hate. The salary is the bird in the hand. You have it, it's safe. The business you could start, the freelance career you could build. That's the two birds in the bush. Mathematically, the business could make you 5 times your salary. But psychologically, the risk of losing that steady paycheck feels like death. So you stay. You choose the guarantee of mediocrity over the possibility of greatness. You choose to not lose rather than playing to win. And let's be clear, playing not to lose is a guaranteed way to lose. In sports, the team that tries to run out the clock usually gets scored on. In war, the army that digs in and refuses to advance gets surrounded. In finance, the man who hoards his cash gets eaten by inflation. Loss aversion is a tax on your future. It is a fee you pay to your amygdala to keep it quiet. And the cost of that fee is your financial freedom. You look at the wealthy and you think they are fearless. You think they have some genetic mutation that makes them immune to this pain. Wrong. They feel the same fear you do. When Elon Musk put his last million into SpaceX, do you think he wasn't terrified? When Warren Buffett makes a $1 billion bet, do you think his pulse doesn't quicken? Of course it does. But they have trained themselves to override the glitch. They have trained themselves to look at the expected value, not the emotional value. They ask, is the upside mathematically worth the risk? If the answer is yes, they pull the trigger. Even if they are scared, even if their stomach is in knots. They act in spite of their biology. You act because of yours. You let the caveman drive the Ferrari. And the caveman only knows how to do one thing: slam on the brakes. You are driving through life with the parking brake on, wondering why you can't pick up speed, wondering why the engine is smoking. It's not the car. It's you. You are so terrified of the potential accident that you are refusing to drive. And while you sit in the driveway, gripping the steering wheel, safe and sound, the world is racing by. This is the psychological foundation of your poverty. You are not unlucky. You are not waiting for the right time. You are suffering from a cognitive bias that treats paper losses like physical wounds. You are prioritizing the avoidance of pain over the pursuit of pleasure. And until you realize that this pain is an illusion, that losing money is not the same as losing a limb, you will stay exactly where you are. Frozen, safe, and broke. Every time you say no to a risk because it feels scary, you are feeding the beast. You are making the fear stronger. You are reinforcing the neural pathway that says safety is good, risk is bad. You are building a prison out of your own comfort. And the walls are getting thicker every day. Ding. You know that sound. It's the most beautiful sound in the world. You check your phone, a notification from your bank. Direct deposit, $3,400. And just like that, the knot in your chest loosens. The anxiety about the credit card bill evaporates. The fear of the future recedes into the background. You let out a long breath. I'm okay, you think. I survived another 2 weeks. You order the sushi. You buy the shoes. You transfer a little bit to savings to feel responsible. You feel safe. And that feeling is exactly why you will never be rich. You are not looking at a reward for your labor. You are looking at a dose of morphine. The bi-weekly paycheck is the most powerful sedative ever invented. It is designed to numb the pain of your potential. It is designed to silence the screaming voice in your head that says, I am meant for more than this. It solves your immediate survival problem so efficiently that it destroys your ability to solve your long-term freedom problem. Think about a lion in the zoo. It's big, it's powerful, it has claws that can rip through bone. But at 5:00 p.m. every day, a keeper walks in and throws a slab of meat into the cage. The lion doesn't have to hunt, it doesn't have to track, it doesn't have to fight. It just has to wait. After a few years, that lion isn't a king of the jungle anymore. It's a pet. If you open the gate, it wouldn't run. It wouldn't know what to do. It would starve to death 5 feet from freedom because it forgot how to kill. You are the lion. You have traded your hunting instinct for a guaranteed meal. And the price of that meal is your freedom. You tell yourself you're working for the money. I need this job to fund my investments, you say. I need this job to build my capital. Liar. You are working for the certainty. You are addicted to the predictability of the drip. The 15th and the 30th, like clockwork. You don't have to think about where your next meal is coming from. You don't have to wake up every morning and kill something to eat. You just have to show up. You just have to sit in the chair. You just have to endure the boredom. And in exchange, the system removes the fear of starvation. But here is the trade-off you don't see. When you remove the fear of starvation, you also remove the hunger for greatness. Hunger is a clarifying force. When you are hungry, truly, existentially hungry, your senses sharpen. Your creativity spikes. Your tolerance for risk goes through the roof because the alternative is death. Entrepreneurs are hungry. They have to make the sale. They have to build the product. If they don't eat. That terror is their fuel. It propels them through rejection, through failure, through exhaustion. But you are full. You are comfortable. You have a full belly and a warm cage. So when you look at that risky investment, or that business idea that requires you to work nights and weekends, you don't have the fuel to do it. You're sleepy. I'll do it later, you say. I'm tired from work. I'll look at it next weekend. You are sedated by your own solvency. The paycheck is a pacifier that keeps you docile while your life ticks away. And your boss, he isn't your leader. He is your dealer. He knows exactly how much to pay you. He pays you just enough so that you can't afford to quit, but not enough so that you can afford to be free. It is a calculated equilibrium. If he paid you too little, you would leave out of desperation. You would be forced to take a risk. If he paid you too much, you would save enough to escape. You would buy your freedom. So he keeps you right in the middle. Just comfortable enough to stay, just scared enough to obey. You are trapped in the Goldilocks zone of mediocrity. And you defend it. You defend your dealer. Oh, the benefits are great, you say. The 401k match is solid. You sound like a prisoner, praising the quality of the gruel. At least I know I'll get fed tomorrow. Yes, you will. But you will never feast. You will never know what it feels like to kill your own dinner, to eat what you kill, to know that your survival is entirely in your own hands. You will never know the terrifying, electrifying power of total self-reliance. You are outsourcing your survival to a corporation that would fire you in a heartbeat to save a penny on earnings per share. You think you are safe because the check clears, but you are standing on a trapdoor. Layoffs, restructuring, AI automation. The dealer can cut the supply at any moment. And because you have been sedated for so long, because your hunting muscles have atrophied, you will be helpless when the cage opens. You will stand there, blinking in the sunlight, waiting for the meat that never comes. You are scared to take a risk because you have forgotten how to survive in the wild. You are terrified of the cold. But the cold is where the life is. The cage is warm, but it's a coffin. And deep down on Sunday night, you feel it. The Sunday scaries. That heavy feeling in your stomach as the weekend ends. That isn't just work stress. That is your soul realizing it has to go back into the cage. That is the part of you that still wants to hunt, screaming to be let out. You push it down. You tell yourself, just 5 more days, then it's the weekend. You trade 5 days of life for 2 days of recovery. You trade 71% of your existence for a 29% rebate. And you call that a living. It's not a living. It's a slow, anesthetized death. And every time that direct deposit hits, every time you hear that ding, you take another hit of the drug. You feel the relief. And you fall back asleep. Close your eyes. Seriously, do it. I want you to imagine yourself with $10 million in the bank. You're waking up in a house you own debt-free. You walk into a kitchen that gleams. You check your phone, and the number is there. 8 figures. You don't have to go to work. You don't have to answer to anyone. You are completely, terrifyingly free. Now be honest. What did that feel like? Did it feel real? Did it feel like a memory of something that hasn't happened yet? Or did it feel like a movie? Like you were watching a character in a film who looks like you, but isn't actually you? Did you feel a weird, subtle disconnect? A sense of that's not me? Maybe you felt a little spike of anxiety. What would I do all day? Would people hate me? Would I lose it all? This is your problem. You are suffering from a poverty of imagination. And it is more debilitating than a poverty of dollars. You literally cannot visualize a version of yourself that is wealthy, powerful, and risk-tolerant. Your brain rejects the image like a bad organ transplant. That's not us, it whispers. We are the guy who worries about the electric bill. We are the girl who checks the price of appetizers. We are the person who plays it safe. You have rehearsed the role of struggling but responsible middle-class citizen for so long that it has become your identity. You have acted your own mediocrity for decades. And now you can't break character. Let's look at your nightmares. When you think about taking a risk, investing that 10 grand, quitting that job, what happens then? Oh, the picture is crystal clear. You see the bank account hitting zero. You see the eviction notice. You see your friends whispering, I knew he'd fail. You see yourself sleeping on your parents' couch. It is high definition, 4K resolution, surround sound. You can smell the failure. You can taste the humiliation. Your brain is a master architect of disaster. It spends hours every day constructing elaborate, detailed cathedrals of doom. But when you try to imagine the upside, when you try to imagine the business working, The investment doubling. It's blurry, it's vague, it's a hazy someday. I'd travel, you say. I'd buy a nice car. Generic, boring, unconvincing. You have spent 10,000 hours visualizing your own destruction and 5 minutes visualizing your own victory. And you wonder why you're scared. You are scared because the disaster feels real and the success feels like a fantasy. You are walking across a tightrope. Below you, you see a pit of spikes, snakes, and fire. Hyper-realistic, terrifying. Ahead of you, you see fog. Why would you take a step? Why would anyone step into the fog when the pit is so clear? You freeze. You stay on the platform. Because your brain trusts the danger more than the destination. This isn't manifestation. This isn't the secret. This is neurology. Your brain builds what it rehearses. If you rehearse anxiety, you get anxiety. If you rehearse poverty, you get poverty. You are constantly telling yourself stories about your own limitations. I'm not good with numbers. I'm not a business person. I don't come from money. These aren't facts. These are scripts. And you read them so often, you've memorized them. When a risk appears, you check the script. Does my character do this? No, the script says. My character worries. My character asks for permission. My character waits for a guarantee. So you pass. You let the opportunity slide by. And then you watch someone else, someone dumber, louder, less qualified, grab it with both hands. And you think, how did they do that? They did it because their script is different. Their script says, I am a person who figures it out. Their script says, failure is just data. Their script says, I deserve to be here. They aren't smarter, they just have a better writer. And the writer is them. You are the author of your own paralysis. You have trapped yourself in a mental model of scarcity where every dollar spent is gone, and every risk taken is a loss. You treat money like oxygen in a submarine, limited, precious, running out. So you hold your breath. But money isn't oxygen. Money is water. It flows, it rains, it evaporates, it comes back. If you build a dam safety, the water stagnates, it gets murky. If you build a channel risk, the water flows. It generates power, it creates life. But you can't build the channel if you can't see the river. You are standing in the desert of your own imagination, guarding a cup of water, terrified to pour it out to grow a tree. What if the tree doesn't grow, you ask? Then I'll have no water. So you drink the water. And you die in the desert anyway. The risk wasn't pouring the water. The risk was thinking the cup was all there is. You need to smash the cup. You need to stop rehearsing your funeral and start rehearsing your resurrection. You need to close your eyes and force yourself to see the wealth, not as a lottery win, not as a dream, but as a memory of the future. Make it real, make it detailed. Smell the leather in the car, feel the weight of the keys, hear the silence of the debt-free house. Until the success feels as real as the failure, you will never move. You will stay on the platform, staring at the fog, waiting for a bridge that will never appear. Because you are the one who has to build it. Let's ruin your fantasy of the victory lap. You imagine that when you finally make it, when the risk pays off, when the business explodes, when the portfolio hits that magic number, everyone you know is going to cheer. You imagine popping champagne with your high school friends. You imagine your cousin high-fiving you. You imagine your coworkers saying, "Man, I knew you could do it." Dead wrong. Here is what actually happens. You go to dinner with the old crew. You haven't seen them in a while because you've been working. You pull up in the new car, not a Ferrari, just a nice one, a clean one. You walk in. You're wearing a watch that costs more than their rent. You don't mention it, but they see it. You sit down. So, one of them asks, eyes flicking to the watch and then back to your face. How's the project going? You smile. You're excited. You want to share the win. It's amazing, you say. We just closed a huge deal. I'm finally debt-free. Silence. It's not a comfortable silence. It's a heavy, thick, suffocating silence. Someone takes a sip of beer. Someone looks at their phone. Then the comments start. Must be nice. Well, don't forget the little people. I hope you're paying your taxes on that. You know, money isn't everything. There is no applause. There is no joy. There is only resentment. Passive-aggressive jokes, little digs. Oh, look at Mr. Big Shot grabbing the check. You leave that dinner feeling worse than when you arrived. You feel guilty. You feel isolated. You feel like you did something wrong. And that feeling, that fear of that specific moment, that is why you are still broke. We are tribal animals. For 100,000 years, survival meant staying in the tribe. If you were kicked out of the tribe, you died. Alone, in the cold, eaten by wolves. So your brain is wired to conform. It is wired to mimic the behavior of the people around you. If your tribe is broke, your brain thinks broke equals safe. If your tribe complains about their jobs, you complain about your job. It's a bonding ritual. It's how you say, I am one of you, I am safe, please don't exile me. But when you take a risk, when you try to leave the cave and build a castle, you are violating the social contract of mediocrity. You are breaking the unwritten rule that says, we suffer together. And your tribe will punish you for it. Not because they are evil, but because your success is a direct attack on their ego. If you were just lucky, they could forgive you. Oh, he won the lottery, good for him. But if you took a risk, if you worked harder, if you faced the fear they were too cowardly to face, then your success proves that they could have done it too. Your castle casts a shadow over their cave. You are a walking, talking mirror, reflecting their own cowardice back at them. And nobody likes a mirror. So they try to break it. They pull you down. That's risky. You're going to lose it all. You've changed. They are the crabs in the bucket. When one crab tries to climb out, the others don't cheer. They grab its legs and pull it back down. Where are you going? They ask. It's safe down here in the dark. Don't you love us? And you love them. You don't want to make them feel bad. You don't want to be the asshole who thinks he's better than everyone. So you stay in the bucket. You self-sabotage. You see the opportunity, but you think, what would my dad say if I quit my job? You think, if I make this money, my friends will treat me differently. And you are right. They will treat you differently. You will lose friends. You will drift apart from family members. You will be lonely for a while. That is the price. There is a toll booth on the road to wealth, and the currency is approval. You have to hand over your need to be liked. You have to hand over your need to fit in. You have to be willing to be the villain in their story of why life is unfair. He got lucky. He sold out. He forgot where he came from. Let them say it. Let them bond over their shared resentment of you while you are building a life they can't even imagine. But you aren't willing to pay that toll. You want the money and the approval. You want the millions and the pity party. You can't have both. You have to choose. Do you want to be a king in exile or a peasant in the crowd? Most people choose the crowd. They choose the warmth of shared misery over the cold wind of solitary success. At least we're in this together, they say, as the ship sinks. You are clinging to the anchor because you are afraid of swimming alone. But the anchor is dragging you down, and the people you are so afraid of losing, they are the ones holding the chain. Cut the chain. The loneliness at the top is real, but it's better than the suffocation at the bottom. You will find a new tribe. You will find other people who climbed out of their buckets, people who don't resent your ambition but fuel it, people who talk about ideas, not other people, people who say, how can we make this bigger instead of must be nice? But you will never meet them if you stay in the basement. You are protecting relationships that are built on a foundation of shared limitation. If your friendship only works when you are both struggling, it's not a friendship. It's a hostage situation. And you are the one holding the key. Unlock the door, walk out. Let them talk. Let them judge. Let them stay. You have a mountain to climb, and you can't carry them with you. Stop. Look at what you are doing right now. You are reading a script about why you are scared to take risks. You are nodding along. You are thinking, wow, this is deep. This is so true. I feel seen. You feel a little spark of motivation. You feel like you are doing something to fix your problem. You are not. You are doing the exact same thing you always do. You are consuming information to hallucinate progress. You are masturbating your intellect. You are addicted to the feeling of preparation, the feeling of getting ready. It's a specific type of dopamine. It's not the cheap dopamine of scrolling TikTok. It's the virtuous dopamine of learning. You tell yourself, I'm researching the market. I'm studying the fundamentals. I'm waiting until I finish this course. I need to understand the tax implications before I start the LLC. It feels like work. It looks like work. It smells like work. But it is not work. It is the most sophisticated form of procrastination ever invented, productive procrastination. You are running on a treadmill, sweating, panting, checking your heart rate, and telling yourself you are traveling to a new city. But when you step off, you are in the exact same room. You haven't moved an inch. You just tired yourself out. Let's look at your hard drive. Let's look at your watch later playlist. Hundreds of videos, how to start a business, the ultimate guide to investing, 7 passive income streams. Let's look at your bookshelf. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Psychology of Money, Think and Grow Rich. You read them. You highlighted the good parts. You folded the corners of the pages. You felt so smart when you read them. You felt like you were downloading the software of a millionaire into your brain. And what did you do with that software? Nothing. You didn't execute a single line of code. You treated those books like entertainment, not manuals. You collected the map, but you never started the engine. And now you have a library of maps to places you will never visit. You are a collector of potential. And potential is worthless. Kinetic energy is the only thing that moves the needle. You are hoarding knowledge, like a squirrel hoarding nuts for a winter that never comes. I just need to know a little bit more, you say. I just need to find the perfect strategy. There is no perfect strategy. The market doesn't care about your strategy. It cares about your capital. The customer doesn't care about your business plan. They care about your product. You are trying to solve a puzzle that can only be solved by moving the pieces. But you are staring at the box, trying to memorize the picture. You are terrified of making a mistake. You are terrified of looking stupid. So you hide behind the book. You hide behind the screen. I'm still learning, you say. It's a shield. It protects you from the judgment of the world. I can't fail if I haven't started yet. Exactly. But you also can't win. And while you are busy learning how to swim by reading a textbook on hydrodynamics, some idiot who barely knows how to read just jumped in the pool. He is splashing around. He looks ridiculous. He is swallowing water. But guess what? He is swimming. And you are dry. And 5 years from now, he will be an Olympic swimmer, and you will still be the guy on the side of the pool explaining the theory of buoyancy to anyone who will listen. Here is the brutal truth about your preparation. You are already smart enough. You know enough right now, in this second, to make 10 times more money than you are making. You don't need another course. You don't need another mentor. You don't need another podcast. You need to do the thing. You need to open the brokerage account and buy the stock, even if it's the wrong one. You need to launch the website, even if it looks ugly. You need to make the sales call, even if you stutter. Action produces information. You learn more in 1 hour of doing than in 1 year of studying. When you lose $500 on a bad trade, you learn a lesson that no book can teach you. You feel it in your gut. You wire that lesson into your nervous system. That is real learning. What you are doing is mental tourism. You are visiting the life of a rich person in your head, taking pictures, and then going back to your cubicle. Stop being a tourist. Burn the map. Throw away the compass. You are using them to stall. You are waiting for a guarantee that the path is safe. The path is not safe. The path is dangerous. The path is confusing. The path is full of mud and fog. But it is the only path that leads anywhere. The library is safe. The classroom is safe. But nobody gets rich in the library. They get rich in the mud. Get in the mud. Stop preparing to live. And start dying. Or start living. But for God's sake, stop reading about it. You are going to finish this script. And then you are going to want to watch another video. You are going to want to cement the lesson. Don't. Close the browser. Make the transfer. Send the email. Post the content. Do the thing that makes your hands shake. Do it badly. Do it wrong. Do it scared. But do it. Because the version of you that is ready is a myth. He doesn't exist. There is only the version of you that acts, and the version of you that waits. Which one are you? Don't answer me. Show me. Your bank account is a ledger of your actions, not your thoughts. And right now, that ledger is empty. Not because you are dumb, but because you are ready. And ready is the enemy of done. Let's time travel. The date is February 15, 2036, 10 years from today. You are waking up. The alarm on your phone sounds exactly the same. The room looks almost the same. Maybe the paint is a little more faded. Maybe the carpet is a little more worn. You sit up. Your back is stiffer than it used to be. You feel a little heavier. You walk to the bathroom. You look in the mirror. Gray at the temples, lines around the eyes, the face of someone who is tired. Not good tired, not the exhaustion of building something, of fighting for something. Just stale tired. The fatigue of a hamster that has been running on a wheel for a decade. You go to the kitchen, you pour the coffee. You check your bank account on your phone. The number is fine. It's a little higher than it is today. You saved. You were responsible. You put money in the 401k. But you aren't rich. You still have a mortgage. You still have car payments. You still worry about the price of gas. You realize, with a sick feeling in your stomach, that you are exactly where you were 10 years ago, just older. You didn't crash. You didn't burn. You just slowly, quietly evaporated. You get in the car. You drive to work. Maybe it's the same job. Maybe it's a different cubicle with a different logo. It doesn't matter. You answer to a boss who is younger than you now. A kid in his 20s who takes risks you were too scared to take. He is reckless. He is arrogant. And he is your superior. He tells you what to do. He critiques your work. And you have to sit there and take it. You have to smile. You have to nod. Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. Because you need the job. You can't quit. You have kids in college. You have bills. You are trapped in the golden handcuffs of your own prudence. You sit at your desk and you think about that year. 2026. You think about the investment you didn't make, the business you didn't start, the crypto you didn't buy. You remember the specific moment you hovered over the button. You remember the fear. It was too risky, you tell yourself. The economy was uncertain. But then you open LinkedIn, and you see him. The friend who did jump. The idiot, the guy you thought was reckless. He just sold his company, or he just retired, or he's posting pictures from a boat in the Mediterranean. He looks younger than you. He looks alive. He isn't smarter than you. In fact, you remember helping him with his homework in college. But he had the one thing you lacked, the ability to endure uncertainty. He ate the fear. You let the fear eat you. And now the bitterness sets in. It's a poison. It drips into your marriage. Why can't we go to Italy? Your spouse asks. We can't afford it, you snap. We have to be responsible. You use that word like a weapon. Responsible. But it doesn't taste like virtue anymore. It tastes like ash. You realize that responsible was just a code word for cowardice. You realize that while you were busy protecting your downside, you completely eliminated your upside. You protected yourself from failure, yes. But you also protected yourself from life. You are safe. You are secure. And you are completely, utterly miserable. You look at your children. You tell them you can be anything you want. But they look at you. They see your tired eyes. They see your slumped shoulders. They see your fear. And they learn the lesson you didn't mean to teach them. Dreams are dangerous. Stay safe. Stay small. Don't jump. You are infecting the next generation with your own paralysis. You are passing down the family heirloom of mediocrity. This is the ghost of Christmas future. And he isn't showing you a tragedy of disaster. He isn't showing you homeless under a bridge. He is showing you something much worse. The tragedy of the unlived life. The gray, dull, suffocating pain of what if. This future is not written in stone. It is being written right now. It is being written by the decisions you are making today. Every time you close that tab, you are adding a brick to the wall of this future. Every time you say, "I'll do it later," you are tightening the handcuffs. You think you have time. You think, "I can change course in 5 years." No, you can't. Because in 5 years, you will be even more scared. You will be even more tired. You will have even more to lose. The cement is wet right now. You can move. You can change the shape. But it is hardening. Every day you wait, it sets a little more. Soon it will be stone. And you will be trapped inside it, screaming without a mouth, watching the world go by through a crack in the wall. You are building your own tomb. And you are calling it a safety net. Look at your hands. They are young enough. They are strong enough. You have the capital. You have the brain. The door is open. The only thing standing in the doorway is a ghost. A ghost made of your own anxiety. Are you really going to let a ghost block you from the life you deserve? Are you really going to let a biological glitch dictate your destiny? Or are you going to walk through it? It will be cold. It will be scary. You might get hurt. But on the other side is the person you were meant to be. The person who did. The person who built. The person who lived. Don't be the guy in the chair in 2036. Please. For the love of God. Don't be him. Kill him now while you still can. Kill him by taking the risk. This is it. The end of the line. You have read the words. You have felt the sting. You have seen the ghost of your future self rotting in a cubicle in 2036. And now you have a choice. Not a theoretical choice. Not a philosophical choice. A physical choice. When this video ends, the screen will go black. You will see your own reflection in the glass. And in that moment, you have to decide which version of you is going to stand up. Is it the coward? The coward is loud. He is persuasive. He has a PowerPoint presentation on why now isn't the right time. He says, "That was a cool video. Very inspiring. Let's think about it for a week. Let's wait for the market to stabilize. Let's talk to the accountant first." If you listen to him, if you close this tab and go back to your email, back to your spreadsheet, back to your research, you are dead. I don't mean physically. Your heart will keep beating. You will keep breathing. But the part of you that matters, the hunger, the ambition, the fire, will flicker out. You will enter the rot. The rot is comfortable. It smells like stale coffee and air conditioning. It feels like an ergonomic chair. It is the slow, painless decomposition of your potential. You will be safe. You will be prudent. You will be liked by your mediocre friends. But every time you see someone else win, a little piece of you will turn black. Every time you swipe a credit card and worry about the balance, a little piece of you will shrivel. You will become a hollow man, filled with the sawdust of almost. I almost started that business. I almost bought that stock. I almost lived. Or you can choose the leap. The leap is terrifying. I am not going to lie to you and say it's fun. It's not. It feels like vomiting. It feels like standing naked in a blizzard. When you press that button, when you transfer the money, when you sign the papers, when you quit the job, your brain will scream. Danger, stop, turn back. Your hands will shake. You will sweat. You will want to throw up. Good. That nausea is the feeling of weakness leaving your body. That terror is the feeling of your soul waking up from a 20-year coma. You are finally feeling something real. You are finally playing the game instead of watching it. And yes, you might lose. Let's be crystal clear. You might lose the money. You might fail. You might look stupid. So what? So what? If you lose the money, you will make more. Money is renewable. Time is not. If you fail, you will learn. You will get a scar, and scars are better than bed sores. Scars mean you were in the fight. Bed sores mean you never got out of bed. The pain of failure is sharp, but it heals. The pain of regret is dull, and it lasts forever. Which pain do you want? Because you will feel pain. That is guaranteed. You can choose the sharp, clean pain of the arena, or the dull, rotting pain of the sidelines. You cannot choose no pain. That option does not exist. So here is your instruction. Not a suggestion, an instruction. Identify the thing you are scared of. The specific financial move you have been researching for 6 months. The investment, the business, the expense. Do it. Today. Not tomorrow, not after lunch. Right now. Before the adrenaline fades, before the coward has time to open his PowerPoint. Open the app, type the number, press the button. Do it while your hand is shaking. Do it because your hand is shaking. Force your body to disobey your fear. Override the biological glitch. Smash the glass. This is the only way to break the pattern. You cannot think your way out of fear. You can only act your way out. Courage is not a thought. Courage is a muscle, and you have let yours atrophy. The only way to rebuild it is to lift the heavy weight. The weight is the button. Lift it. You are standing at the door of the plane. The wind is howling. The ground is 10,000 feet down. The instructor is yelling, "Geo." You can step back into the cabin. You can sit down. You can fly safely back to the airport. You can drive home. You can watch Netflix. You can sleep in your warm bed. And you will never know what it feels like to fly. You will never know who you could have been. You will be safe. And you will be sorry. Or you can jump. The air is cold. The fall is fast. But for the first time in your life, you will be free. The video is over. The script is done. I can't help you anymore. Nobody can. It's just you. And the button. And the silence. Don't let the silence win. Make the noise. Take the risk. Jump.